Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the vlog series. I hope you're having a wonderful January so far. Today is a bit of a different day. It is my day off and I actually have a job interview soon. And the reason why I'm searching for a new job is because the family that I nanny for, they're expecting their second child. She gets a very generous amount of maternity leave, quite a few months. So I'm out on the hunt for a new job. I'm actually interviewing at a horse farm today. I told myself that I wasn't gonna work at any more horse farms going forward just because I've been, you know, screwed over so many times by these different farms and just like doing a lot more work than I'm getting paid. Those of you who work in the horse industry know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of horse people do not have a lot of money, therefore they don't always have a lot to give to their staff, or they kind of screw them over, and that's kind of what's been my experience. I've worked for a couple barns in the past that were good at the amount of work that I'm putting in, you know. So I'm really hoping that this new farm, which is actually right next to my parents' place, so it's right down the road. I actually used to lesson there as a kid, and I remember my dream was someday I'm gonna work here and keep my horses here because it is the most beautiful facility that I've ever been to in person. It's gorgeous. It's a nice fancy hunter jumper show barn, which is not really my scene anymore. Although I am very picky with the horse jobs that I will have going forward if I do choose to have one, because I know what I don't want and I know what I want. I love a place that I can board Iro at, because it just would be so much better to work at a place that he is at rather than working at a horse farm and then driving 35 minutes, 40 minutes away to go see Iro. I'm going to be very burnt out as far as horse stuff goes. So it would be really wonderful if I could find accommodations for him here, and that way I could have him right down the road. That would be absolutely splendid. I do like where he's being boarded at, of course. So I mean, I'm in no rush to move him or anything like that. So I'm really excited to see this farm. I haven't seen it since I was like 13 years old, and I'm excited to see sort of what has changed and what sort of help that they need. But I will talk to you guys probably afterwards. Hey guys, just had a very long day. I had the interview and then I went out to the mall with my sister in Goodwill, and I got a couple of things that I'll show you in a second. But first I wanted to talk a little bit about how the interview went. So I go there, I had a really great interview. The guy was super kind, super nice. Seems like he's a very great boss. The people there enjoy working for him. But unfortunately, it all sounded good until I got to the car and actually calculated like the financial side of things. It ended up working out to be minimum wage, and for minimum wage in upstate New York, it's not really going to pay our bills, unfortunately, and that's one of the reasons why I like nannying so much. And in this case, you kind of have to take like the amount of work that would be done in a position compared to another one. Like, I could get paid more at my local grocery store. In this grocery store, you're actually allowed to sit at the cash register, so you can sit. I would be making significantly more money working at a grocery store or even Walmart, those types of places, compared to working at this high-end equestrian facility. And you have to kind of factor in the amount of work that I would be doing as well during the hours that I work there. So I mean, it sounds like a dream position for when I was younger and really just wanted to be around horses, but eventually you really just have to, once you become an adult, you really have to weigh the pros and cons and choose what is most financially viable. And for me and my bills and the amount of animals that I have and have to pay for. Talk about what I got from Goodwill. Now this really needs a good cleanup, but it's this really beautiful picture. Can't really even see, but it's got a couple ducks, and I really just love the pale blue, the pale colors, the wooden frame. I just think it all goes really well together, and I wanted more picture frames that had this little stand thing because my walls are pretty full of photos right now. I mean, I could probably put this one up on my picture wall, but I just thought that this was really cute, and it was only $2. And also, like, Goodwill is just such a great place to get frames. Like, even if you don't like whatever picture is in there, just like the frames are so nice. I have some really nice frames now. Now I'm going to show you guys the clothes that I got. So I'm actually wearing one of my Goodwill sweaters right now that I showed you guys the other day. But I found this. It is a cardigan, and it's totally me. It's got little leaves on it. And I liked the little, like, I don't know what you would call that, like scalloped edging there. I love the color. This is like one of my favorite colors to wear on me. Now this is my favorite item, and you've probably seen these at like every store, but they're just so freaking comfy. They're like these big teddy bear coats. I have 2 white ones, but I really like this color. It reminds me of a grizzly bear, and it is so comfy. I'm actually going to put it on. This is from American Eagle. I like a lot of stuff from American Eagle, but I can't afford it, so when I see it at places like Goodwill, it's like, ooh. But I really like this pattern. It's just like black and white button down. Has long sleeves. It's just, can't really go wrong with something like that, and I don't have something like that already. I got another turtleneck because I'm just obsessed with turtlenecks lately, and this color I really like. It's not gray. It looks kind of gray, but it's actually a blue. More blue stuff here. There's this really comfy cardigan, and I really like the buttons on it. I wanted to show sort of what Gen's regular daily training protocol looks like, because consistency is really key when training a puppy, and as you can see, he has really improved on a lot of his cues. We typically do a lot of weaving, a lot of down stays. I also practice his focus cue, which is really useful during conformation shows. So he's been to 1 conformation show so far, and we hope to go to more. And the point of it is to get him to do a nice stack. That is where his front and back legs are in alignment, and it really just shows his conformation very well. And you usually have to put his tail up, but also I rub my hand down because that's what the judge typically does, and he has a really hard time with that. He gets very excited when he gets petted, so that's just some practice that I do. I'll also move his limbs to where they're in alignment using my left hand. We do a lot of middle, that's his most favorite cue, and then going into a down stay, and then having him wait there for a certain amount of time. We also started introducing the sit pretty cue. This one is not very functional, but it is useful to have for his next trick title. He currently has his novice trick title, but we'd like to move up to the intermediate. And with the sit pretty, you have to be careful because a puppy is still developing, so we do not do this cue very often, and I give him breaks in between. And it can be hard for them to kind of juggle their balance at the start, so you want to do this one slow and steady at first, and I help him with his balance by using my arm, and it's something that he prefers that I do, at least in the start. And of course, Patsu came and wanted to crash the training session, but he's actually really good. This is a 20-second out of sight down stay. He doesn't have to be in the down position for this, for his trick title, but it's just a stay where you're out of sight. He cannot see me. He knows where I am, but he can't see me. And he's just supposed to wait there until I release him. And this is a super useful cue for when we are out and about. And the next cue that you're going to see is his paws up. He also really enjoys this one, and this was also something that he needed to do for his, I think his novice trick title, maybe for the intermediate, I'm not quite sure, but he does know how to do that. And I also do spin. It's like a nice kind of transitional cue that I do in between other cues that I ask him to do, so I have him spin both ways, and I use the vocal word as well. Here I'm just doing a little bit more sit pretty, and you can actually see him figure out what I want him to do, and then also him trying to balance and build those muscles in his hind end. Using a food lure at the start is really good for this, just because it kind of helps the dog understand what direction or what they should be kind of focusing on to help with their balance and kind of understand what you're asking of them. I was actually really happy that Patsu decided to keep interrupting because it helps with his kind of focusing and being involved and continuing to interact with me rather than interacting with Patsu, so he's kind of a good distraction. And we're doing a lot of touch, and he kind of confuses it with paw and sit pretty. His touch is a little bit, not aggressive, but he does like to open his mouth when he does it for some reason. And I do try to reinforce taking treats gently. I kind of have to do that consistently throughout the sessions because he does get very excited and will try to chomp chomp, and that is not okay. Patsu continuing to be a very good distraction for him. I don't really remember what I'm asking for here. I think I just want him to stay in a down stay. I like to do a lot of practice with him sitting or being in a down calmly at my side, because this would be very useful if I'm at the store, the pet store, or take him out places and I'm talking with people. It is a really nice position for him to be in. This is a new trick that I just taught him, and it's pick a card. So he has to kind of calmly pick a single card out of the deck, and he really enjoys that one. When I decided to implement a new object for him to put his paw onto. Before he knew the cone, where he would just touch the cone with his paw or his mouth. I played Skyrim pretty much all morning, so I really need to do something productive. So I'm going to clean the entire house. It is a disaster in here, as it usually is. Today's been a very rough day. Just had a lot of reminders today about my boys and how much I miss them. February is a tough month because it is, it'll be a year since we said goodbye to Howl. Also approximately, we're not sure really, Donji's birthday. So he would have been 5. So apparently February is his birthday, and February the 22nd maybe is, or the 24th, we lost Howl a year ago, and it honestly doesn't feel like it was that long ago. Like, it was an entire year ago almost, and it's weird to think about that. This time last year we had him and Tanji. A lot of the time I'm actually pretty okay. Just like, if I catch myself thinking about them too much, I get really emotional. Normally I can think of them now fondly and without breaking down, but today was a hard day. I had a lot of reminders today. To some people, I know, not really you guys all are mostly ferret people, so you understand, but the ferrets to me are not just tiny animals. I love them and I care about them just as much as you do your family dog, or just someone or something that is very important to you. They're my entire world. I love them so much. I'm really hoping that they'll be around for many, many years to come. I really want Patsu to be in our wedding, and just to think that he'll be 5 years old by the time our wedding is just makes me really kind of emotional. I just miss having Howl, and I'm sad that he didn't make it to see this apartment. It makes me sad that my last memories of him were back downstate in our last apartment. I mean, I'll always have very fond memories of that place. I'll never forget it, but I don't know, I kind of wish that he was able to make the trip here, because this is where I grew up and this is where I got him and had a lot of memories with him while he was a kid. And I miss Tanji's playfulness. He was just so playful, and I'm happy that he was able to see our new apartment. I'm happy that he was able to meet Remy and Riva. It hits me at night, especially when I'm alone and Brian's at work, and I think it makes me feel better to talk about it. So thank you for kind of being my shoulder to cry on virtually. Sometimes I'll take out their toys that I have in their little memorial area. Howl's Bumblebee, and I love that it's just still in the same state. It doesn't smell like him anymore, but it's got, you know, that chewed off ear, dirt and grime, and this was his toy, his most favorite treasured thing. And I was just gonna put it in a place in my apartment where I think he would want to stash it. I have a pretty good idea of where he would, but I'm not really sure where he would, and I kind of feel bad doing it for him, so I keep it in with all of his stuff. Tanji, I have 2 toys that he really liked. This one is really special. Kid's probably wondering what I'm doing. This one was really special. It's actually attached. It used to be a wand toy, and it was one of the first toys that I bought just for him while I was waiting for him to be done with his canine extraction procedure, and I was so worried about him, and I just wanted to get him something that he would be able to play with when he was finished with his procedure. He really, really loved this toy. I have so many pictures and videos of him playing with this. Even though it's no longer attached on the wand, he still played with it just like this. And yeah, very special. And then his little ducky toy. This toy is in really good shape. The other ferrets don't really care for it, but Tanji really, really liked this little duck. I don't know why. I really liked it, so I keep it in with this stuff. And then the veterinary college did like a little paw print mold for Tanji, and I'm so happy that I got this. I don't have anything like this for Howl, and that's kind of why I did all of their paw prints this year for Christmas, because I regret not doing something like that with him. I also have the painting that Patsu and Tanji did together that's very special, and I actually also have a lock of Howl's fur. I started collecting his hair while I would brush him around the time where I had a feeling that he would be leaving us soon, during the whole back and forth with your ferret has cancer, your ferret doesn't, your ferret's gonna live a long time, your ferret's gonna die in a week, you know. I'm really happy that I started collecting that, because I'll always have that too. Something that just makes me feel good, I guess, is lighting a candle for them. Just putting all their nice things together and just praying for them. And thank you guys for listening. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this in, because I don't know, it's just sad, but it's kind of the reality of losing someone so important and so special to you. And even as time goes by, you still might have moments where it's like this, you break down, you mourn again, you try to compose myself now and talk about something else. A couple things have happened since I've last talked to you guys. One thing being, we are checking out our first wedding venue next weekend, which is really exciting. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'll try to get some footage while I'm there. The next day we have a bridal convention. Brian got the entire weekend off, and then afterwards I'm really hoping to reconnect with an old friend of mine. I'm hoping that she will do the makeup at my wedding. We went to beauty school together, and we actually got tattoos together, not matching ones, but I got my first tattoo with her. She's one of like the only people that I kind of stayed in contact with after beauty school, and it's been a while since we have connected, so I'm really excited and looking forward to that. The other thing was today, me, my sister, and Brian, not my little sister, my 20-year-old sister, we were gonna go look at a rental house together. I really would love to live with my sister, and she feels the same. She lives at home, and for her and her personality, she would prefer to, if she were to move out, like the first place that she would be living would be like with me. So it's not so much of a shock, because there are a lot of adult things that she hasn't needed to do yet. And I've had so many rants that I ended up not including in the vlog because I wasn't sure if I was oversharing, but I do crave family time, and until Brian and I can make our own family, I have to kind of work with what I have currently, and what I have currently as far as like a sense of family isn't to the level that I would really desire and that I would want. As my sister is getting older, she is also feeling the same way. It would just be great to have another person to have family dinners with and spend time with. The landlord for this rental house, and it's like the most perfect location. It's right next to my sister's job. She could literally walk there. It's not far at all from Brian's, not far from mine. It is just like smack dab in the middle, like perfect. And it's a 4-bedroom and a lot of great space for the ferrets to play, a yard for Gen, a screened-in porch, a nice finished basement, laundry room. It was like perfect. But we were supposed to go see it today, and the landlord just like was not answering me on times, and he finally got back to me, and it was like an hour before we were going to meet and said that he had to reschedule, wasn't very apologetic. So that to me is just not really a great impression that you want to leave on your future potential tenant. I mean, we would be a 3-income household instead of just a 2-income. However, it might be pushing it. I mean, it is a lot more rooms and space and a nice yard. It would be probably difficult for Brian and I to continue to save money for when we eventually have a house. Our lease here ends in March, which is crazy that it's almost, not really almost, but it's getting there, a year since we've been living in this apartment. That really does not seem correct to me, but I guess it is. This year has just flown by. I'll probably stay here longer and just work on continuing to save money, because this place is a freaking steal. Full kind of separate kitchen. I mean, it's got an archway thingy-mabobber, but like all the other apartments that I'm looking at are more expensive. Doesn't have a separate kitchen. Like everything is just in one, not a studio, but like the kitchen and the living room are kind of like in one square. And this apartment has way more counter space in the kitchen than all the other more expensive apartments. One has no carpet. It is hardwood floors and tile. We have our own sliding back door, which makes it really easy to take in out for potty. We're really happy here, and it's like nearly impossible to find anything this rate or less in this area. Getting you hungry? Are you hungry? Uh-oh.